Hello Internet, and today is going to be another book opinion, those videos in which I tell you my opinion on a book. And today we're finally going to have my final thoughts on Crooked Kingdom and the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. However, before I start on this book, I would just want to amend some stuff from my last book opinion where I sorted all the crows into houses, and I want to change, or sort of not change, my choice for Neige the Wraith. So originally in that video I put her in Slytherin because I saw her as a very ambitious and clever character who was very witty and could like be Slytherin-ish. Like, no, not to the extent of Kaz, because I think he's like King Slytherin, and him and Tom Riddle would have like a cane/wand fight. But Neige was a Slytherin-ish character to me. However, after having some debate with other people and really thinking about it, I'm going to say that originally, as a kid, before the whole Catterdam incident, Neige was definitely more of a Gryffindor because she just has more of a pure Gryffindor heart that doesn't seek out that sort of clever manipulation that comes with Slytherins, that comes with trying to figure people out and sort of dissect them to worm your way through situations that come so easily to Kaz, and probably always has, even when he was a kid. Not to the extent he is now, but Neige, he was definitely more Gryffindor in the beginning. However, I still stand that she is a Slytherin-ish Gryffindor, if anything, because Catterdam and Kaz has taught her to survive. She had to change and she couldn't keep those same Gryffindor ways, but had to become more Slytherin for the sake of survival. So that's sort of an amendment where I'm not quite sure where the official sorting hat would put her, and I'm not quite sure where it would put her because I think it would depend on like which area and time, whether it was before or after Catterdam and Neige. So sort of an idea there. But on to the main book, right? Crooked Kingdoms. It was a book I was scared to read because I just kept hearing like little whispers of people saying that they didn't like the ending to this, to the extent that they didn't like the ending to the original Grisha trilogy. So I was nervous, right? Because I definitely liked Six of Crows more than I liked the three books in the Grishaverse. But I liked them more. Like, I liked the Grishaverse in its original 3 books, but I did love the characters in Six of Crows a whole lot more. They just spoke to me a lot more. So I was nervous going into Crooked Kingdom. So this book is following after the Six of Crows and Neige has been captured. They now have to have a battle out with the merchant who is Waylon's father, as we find out. And we're going to try to figure out a way to not sell the kid who has this secret Param formula in his brain, but also get our money back and get Neige back from this evil merchant dude. So it's going to be a whole big cat and mouse game between Kaz and the merchant, where they're going to try to get one step ahead of each other every time, and everything's getting really, really close and tight because all the countries around the world are figuring out what was going on. They're figuring out about the special sort of Param, that the special drug that makes Grisha really a lot more powerful. It like opens their third eye and lets them use more of their abilities, but is also really dangerous and damaging. So for various reasons, each country wants this man and his formula, and Kaz has to figure out a way to slither through and come out on top at the end, and everything isn't going great for these guys. So objectively, before we complain about the ending, objectively, I think this book was fairly good. I liked the better explanation and exploration of characters. I liked how the plot developed and how it went along. I thought it was very entertaining and still had that same feel of the first book, where we're going to be in high tense situations. We're going to have character development. We're going to see characters interact in a way where they're going to have conversations that they might not want to have, but they they will have to have these conversations. I liked the politics that was going on in the background of all these different countries gathering together, trying to get this one guy, to get this one formula, to potentially have even stronger Grisha weapons, or to protect Grisha in the case of that one country that Nicholas is king of, or Nikolai, that Nikolai is king of. His name is Nick of some sort of, it's some sort of nickname. It's a nickname. Moving on. So I liked that sort of background. I liked the more broad story, or like the more focused on story of them trying to figure out how to go about tricking a merchant, because this merchant is actually a pretty good enemy. And I liked how it was at some points where like, is Kaz actually going to win this? Like, we know he's going to, but there was a few points where it actually like pulled back the plan so much that you're like, oh, what's going to happen here? Because it's not working out as wonderfully as Kaz had originally intended. And sometimes it's a little bit frustrating, because it's sort of like the One Punch Man, if you've ever seen that. One Punch! Where you kind of just want the dude to punch out everyone because you know he can do it, but you don't want it to happen because you know then it wouldn't be as entertaining if we didn't see other people attempt to fight these super powerful creatures first before One Punch Man came in and gave him that one punch. So that's kind of how I felt whenever these instances would come up that would like stop Kaz's plan, because I'd be like, Kaz is a genius. We just want to see him succeed. Stop drawing him down, other people. We don't care. Like, he's gonna win. So that was like one thing that was more of a personal issue than anything wrong with the book. A few complaints I did have about this book is I think this whole book was meant to take over like a week time period directly after Inej gets captured. However, this time period slowly gets cut down in like the first few pages to like 3 days, and then this gigantic book happens in 3 days. And all I could think was, when did any of these guys sleep? Because they do a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff to try to get one step ahead of the merchant to make sure that their plans succeed. So I don't know how it all happened in 3 days. Like, I felt like every day in Ketterdam is at least 72 hours, and that's how this plan succeeded. But that's personal gripe. This was one of those books where when I thought of it like outside of like the entertainment, I was like, no way this could happen in 3 days. That's way too much stuff to plan. That's way too much stuff going bad, and then you having to amend, and you trying to travel here and travel there and travel back and forth and splitting up and causing all this ruckus so that you can succeed. That's like way too much to happen in 3 days. And you cut it down to 3 days. Like, originally, they had a week, and then Bardugo is like, you know what would be even more fun? If Kaz only had 3 days. And I didn't appreciate it, because I really had to suspend my disbelief, which is a weird thing to say when you're reading a fantasy book, a high fantasy book. But I'm sorry, I just wanted it a little more believable time length. 1 week, 2 weeks. Give them some hours to work with here. Other than objectively just finding it very enjoyable, very entertaining, much of the same that I did with Six of Crows, I do think the ending. It's like not horrible, but I'm starting to fear that if Leigh Bardugo keeps this up with her novels, she's gonna become the next Stephen King, where you could have ended it at a different point in time, you could have had a different ending, you just didn't know how to finish it off, and you just kind of was lackluster and disappointed some people, or else just had people raising eyebrows like, really? Why would you do that right now? And that's kind of how I'm feeling so far about the end of Leigh Bardugo's series. Like, in the individual books, fine. Like, The end of Shadow and Bone I was good with. The end of Siege and Storm I was good with because we knew we were getting another one. The end of Six of Crows I was good with. But the end of Rise and Ruin and now the end of Crooked Kingdom, no. No, they were just terrible. And I've explained in depth, or at least in a deeper depth in my Language of Thorns video when I do a book opinion for that, why exactly that happens. But to kind of give you the shortened version, I think Leigh Bardugo makes the mistake of thinking her story is like so gritty and so dark that we just need to do this one thing to make it even grittier and darker ending. And then she ends up doing something completely stupid and unnecessary where there was no point to it at all, but for like the drama of being darker and grittier. And then the reader's just like, you could have literally done anything else and I would have enjoyed it more. And you have just ruined your ending. Like, that one moment ruined the whole ending. That one moment. If you guys have read either of the endings to either of these Grisha series, you know the moments I'm talking about. But it's like, just pluck that out, make a real ending, and stop trying to make dark, gritty shortcuts so that you don't have to have those hard conversations. Because we don't have time for that. We don't. We don't at all. Or at least I don't. I don't have time for that. So overall, I'm still going to be looking out for Leigh Bardugo. I think she has really great potential. She always writes stories that are really in-depth. She builds worlds that are really interesting. She has characters that have interesting character actions. And they always feel like real people in some sense. Like, as real as you can imagine a person who can control blood. But, like, real. Right? A real person. Like, her characters always feel well-developed. They always have great conversations with each other and just communication with each other and, like, issues. Like, they just got issues and I love it. I love that all these characters are messed up, but they work. And I like that. But I hope she fixes those ending things because if she keeps doing this to me, I might have to say no. I'm going to have to just pick up the first book in a series and be like, after this, I don't care because you're just going to disappoint me, so might as well make up my own ending. That's a lot more satisfying. So, Crooked Kingdom is a book. I think the Six of Crow duology is definitely better than the Grisha trilogy, but I think it makes similar mistakes that were made in the Grisha trilogy for storytelling-wise, for ending-wise, for plot-wise, that really brought it down. But I personally like this one more because I liked the gray area characters that we had, and I liked having this group of characters interact with each other. So it was definitely more enjoyable for me. Comment down below if you like the ending to Crooked Kingdom, or if you were highly disappointed. How many of you were highly disappointed? I feel like a lot more than the ones who just were thrilled about that ending though. So if you like what you're seeing here and you want to continue to see more, click all those bunny bunnies down below and goodbye, internet.